So this is Nam, and he's talking about heart gear. And for this video, he has 14,000 subscribers, relatively small to a certain extent. But this video was made 3 years ago, but it is what it is. It has 2,000 views. So let's see if we can boost those up a little bit with our views, and if you like what he says, let's see. Because I'm going with this video compared to the previous video because this video is a lot longer. It'll feel more like a video than it being just 5 minutes.
I'll remember the name LOL.
If I had to pick one genre that I could call my absolute favorite, it would have to be science fiction. It is a genre that holds itself together by pushing the absolute limits of reality by utilizing things like science, technology, and all the things that you could find in the real world. Hence why I always prefer it over straight up fantasy. If I had to choose between kingdoms and futuristic cities, I'd pick cities every time. Magic or ESP? Definitely picking ESP. I don't know, it's just more grounded for me. There are some series that explore both ideas at once, like the Index franchise, but more times than not, it's the science side of things that had my interest. But this video is not going to be about Index. I came across this absolute gem of a manga called Heart Gear by Takaki Tsuyoshi, and I'm going to talk about the premise and then go over some things that I like about this manga. It is free to read on Manga Plus, so I highly suggest you go over there and check it out. It is really good. The story starts off saying that World War III had happened and effectively wiped out all of humanity. 200 years later, we kick off with Rue, apparently the last human on Earth, and her caretaker is Zet, a gear that acts as a parental figure for her. And just a side note, at first these robots were referred to as droids, but later the author renames them as gears due to copyright issues. Apparently the term droid is copyrighted. Go figure. Naming issues aside, the both of them live off an agricultural—
I never knew that. At least we all know that now. So if you ever thought about writing a manga or anything that has the word droid in it, don't use it. It's copyrighted. I'm pretty sure that because of, well, Android, probably 9 times out of 10. That's crazy.
Lifestyle by living off crops and anything in the area. One day, however, Rue goes off exploring and ends up finding a facility she has never came across before. She finds herself deep inside and discovers a mechanism that she accidentally turns on. Out from it comes a robot that calls itself Chrome, stating that due to not having a base program installed, most of its functions are restricted. Rue brings Chrome back to Zet and he explains that a base program is sort of like a goal or a reason a gear exists, and due to Chrome not having one at the moment, it's sort of like he has no soul. Now, this point is important throughout the story, but I'll get to that later. Zet suggests that Chrome should live with them, and from there he goes through day-to-day life observing Rue, pondering the things she does while trying to rationalize them.
Oh,
Zet
you
and
have?
Rue both teach him many things.
I always like these type of designs when it comes to robots like this. I always find them very interesting. I always like designs on humans just like Gacha Kuda or the last one we just watched.
Enraged video game man. Wow.
But when it comes to like designs on robots, I like a specific look when it comes to anime.
Silver Comet. I know, right, Ryaga? Ever since it came out I have gotten the manga.
I gotta get into this.
And humans, and although he doesn't really get the reason why Rue does certain things, he does try to make an effort with Zet's assistance, and slowly but surely they become somewhat of a family. However, one day when Zet and Rue decide to go out exploring, they end up finding a deer with its stomach blown out. Zet, realizing that the wounds are fresh, decides that they should head back early, but they are intercepted by the one responsible, an insane unit. Basically a gear that has a runaway AI due to the wear and tear over the past 200 years with no repairs or maintenance. Zet tells Rue to escape while he buys time for her, telling her that she should live. She gets back to Chrome, however, the insane unit follows her back and brings back Zet's head. Very considerate.
I figured, cause like I like the design so far.
It then lines up its shot towards Rue and Chrome, while Chrome is trying to process all that has happened and figure out what to do next. Now, I love how this page uses Chrome's body as a sort of template for the panels. It gives us the feeling that he's literally using every fiber of his being to try to find a way out of this situation, but can't due to his restricted functions. I especially love the internal monologue that he has. He goes from thinking what would be best for him to do, to what should I do, to then what do I want to do. His line of thinking shifts from a mechanical point of view to a more human way of thinking. He ultimately decides that he needs to prioritize Rue's life and protects her from the incoming shot. Things are looking pretty hopeless, however, out from Chrome's body comes his true form. It states that he will make his base program to be to protect Rue at all costs. Needing her approval to lift his restrictions, she approves of this base program and Chrome immediately goes to town on the insane gear and instantly wipes it out. They head back and Rue mourns Zet's supposed destruction. However, Chrome takes Zet's head and pulls out his core unit, stating that if they could find a compatible body, they may be able to restore him. However, to that end, they'd have to leave their current living situation and go out and find an engineer and a new body. Rue ultimately decides that she wants to see Zet again, and with that, they both head out to explore this post-apocalyptic world and restore their friend. Now that's the basic premise from there on out. They travel through many places hoping to find any leads on any method they could use to restore Zed, and this is something that I want to implore to any reader that may end up reading this. Do not read this as a typical battle shown in manga. I seriously believe you are doing yourself a huge disservice if you come into this expecting a myriad of fights between robots, and to be fair, there are fights and quite a handful of them too, especially during the Valhalla segment later in the story. But I believe the story is at its best when exploring the desolate world with the rundown cities, barren wastelands, and sometimes even wildlife and greenery. With humanity gone, I feel it gives much more room for the setting since Rue and Chrome are on a long journey jumping from place to place, and on this journey they meet all sorts of gears. At first, I was a bit worried since most of the gears we do see at the beginning come in the shape as normal people. That would seriously underuse the many shapes and forms a robot can take.
Ooh, like the designs! I like the designs! I like the designs! One thing I love about anime is character designs, and I like it when they're like kind of over the top, but like sometimes they're unconventional, but they still look cool. Like her outfit in the middle. It's so unconventional, but then again, it looks awesome still. I love it. Looks amazing.
I was wrong. The two of them run into gears of all kinds, and it sort of gives me Horizon Zero Dawn vibes seeing how some gears take the form of animals. It also reminds me of the 3 Robots episode in Love, Death and Robots, since they're also going through a post-apocalyptic city. Seeing the blend of technology and nature is why I love the science fiction genre. It's usually one or the other, but seeing the blend of the two really brings out a good aesthetic. And speaking of aesthetics, I have to mention the art. Takaki Tsuyoshi is now part of the group of manga artists that have this scratch and sketch style that I absolutely adore.
Yes!
He's up there with Ishida Sui, Itagaki Paru, and Fujimoto Tatsuki. Despite what may look like scribbles, it conveys the idea of age, rust, and foliage really well. I'm never looking at the page in confusion, rather I'm in awe. And besides, this is set 200 years in an apocalyptic future, so this style is actually very appropriate. There will be times where there will be absolutely no dialogue, where we could just take in the landscapes and how time and the lack of human life has affected the world. Again, this manga is not about its battles. I won't talk about the art so much here, considering that he does deserve his own artist analysis video. Another thing that this manga does really well is the personality and backstory of some of the more down-to-earth gear.
Black Torch, huh? Okay, we'll look at that next.
Say for example, this gear that they meet that's a barber. This barber's base program is to cut hair, therefore he is sort of bound to it like a curse. However, he's able to conceptualize the passage of time through seeing a girl grow up, and she always goes to this gear in particular to get her hair done. The woman even eventually brings her own child to this barber. While it could be seen as a perpetual curse, he's able to live through others as people grow out their hair, unlike gears. And it is the same for Zed, since his base function was to observe and do research, which gave him the feeling of satisfaction when raising Rue. The story is absolutely full of this, and while the two travel and meet gears, they talk about their base functions and what it means for them to be alive. And during this you slowly see how Chrome develops more of a personality. At first he's pretty stoic, but in the later chapters you see him get visibly more angry when Rue's life is threatened, or visibly happy when he learns more about himself. Despite being a combat type gear, he becomes less of a machine and more of a person. Even Rue is a really good character. At first glance you would probably think she's a character that isn't really capable of doing anything herself, but she was taught many things from Zed that helped her do along the way. She's skilled at scavenging, preparing food from livestock, starting fires lumberjack style, and all sorts of physical labor that isn't battling, since Chrome usually handles that part. I'm glad there's a division of labor because the story could have easily made Rue a useless character. The manga's only 29-ish chapters in and it explores so many great themes about one's purpose, hence why I believe that the battles are secondary to the story as a whole. And sure, there is some level of fan service, but honestly, it comes quickly and moves just as fast.
I missed this!
Plus, with most of the characters being machines, we can sort of mitigate the annoying cliches of anime and manga, since these aren't really people. But it's weird because at the same time,
watch it, Teach, your gooning is showing.
It's satisfying seeing these machines slowly behave more human. I think I've gushed about this long enough, and it already goes without saying, but I highly suggest you read this. Unfortunately, it is on a hiatus, because good things
There
being
is
on
plot as
hiatus seem
well.
to be the theme of really good
There's
manga these
plot
days,
as well.
but even what's there is
LOL.
really worth the read. Hello YouTube, it's me again, back after the video. Yeah, this is just going to be a common thing that after a video I'll just give my quick afterward updates for what may be going on. Yeah, this is
I know this
technically
guy,
episode
and
2 of...
Mad.
I remember who he is.
Not teaches just representing what it means to be cultural.
Exactly. Let's go, man of culture. All right. So with that said, like, subscribe, share, follow, and comment. This was from, I can't say his name. I feel like if I say it, it'll be a hate crime. So I'm gonna say this is from. I can't say his name. I will say Nam. This is from Nam. His link. Don't worry, just in case if I can't say it, his name will be in the title. Like, I'll tag them in the title and tag them in the description. So if you like what he said or whatever they say these days, we gotta say they just in case.
Ryaga Samurai. A man of culture.
Man of culture indeed. So like, if you guys enjoyed this video and or anything like that, if you like the character or the creator who made the video that we're reacting to, follow them on Discord on the description. I have my brain is everywhere, but follow in the descriptions, like, subscribe, share, follow, and comment. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. There, guys.